I mean,
Um,
one of my buddies was just teasing me. Hey, Brittany, how are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
Very good. One of my buddies was just teasing me about the fact that I still use an MP3 player,
uh-huh.
right? That I don't have my music on my phone,
Mm.
you know, because I use an MP3 player with wired headphones again, because oh no, where'd he go? Yeah, you fell out for some reason. Um, okay, there you are. Okay, try to stay in one spot,
Okay.
right? Anyhow, okay. So, oh, you know what? You have the distinguished honor of being only the second person that I have done an episode B.
Okay.
Right?
I am honored.
I think way back in like the 30s or something, like episode 35 or something, right? I was on with Chris Kent.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then Cass Magda calls me and he goes, no, you didn't do a good job with Chris. Chris would say something and then you wouldn't drill down on it and you wouldn't go deeper into it or what have you. So I
Mhm.
call Chris up and I go, can we do a second one? So we did a B episode.
Was the second one better?
I have no idea. It was so long ago. It was 6 years ago. I have no idea. Right. I mean, I was just getting my feet wet in
You're,
the
you're
whole.
becoming the you're becoming the Joe Rogan of the Jeet Kune world.
Well, that's fairly easy to do. There's not that many
Yeah.
specific Jeet Kune podcasts, right? So
Yeah.
anyhow, so guys, this is episode 348B with the infamous Billy Brown, right? Um, Last week I was in LA with Sifu and Asano, so we were only able to do like 45 minutes, but I'm home this weekend. Next weekend I'll be in Atlanta with Sifu Dan, right?
So jealous. How was he? How was it in LA?
Well,
With
so listen, this is the thing, right? This is the thing. Doesn't matter how much time you've spent with him, it's still always a pleasure,
yeah.
right, to be around. Doesn't matter that he's 89 years old. Billy, we got there, right? I think I did tell you this last week. We got there and there's some people, there's a camera crew doing whatever it is that they're doing. And they ask him to just shadow box with the weapon.
Okay.
And he goes for like 3 minutes. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, but you're 89.
That's unbelievable,
Right?
man.
But
Unbelievable.
you're 89. What is going on here? And he's just a trooper, man. He's just a trooper. So, Ronnie and I, the basic thing is we just want to hang out with him.
Yeah, of
We just want
course.
to hang out with him, right? And and anything else that comes out of that, like if people who have not spent as much time with him as I have, if they're like, well, tell us what the old days were like. What is
Yes.
it that we do now, or how we do things now? How does that compare and contrast with 40 years ago?
Yes.
If something like that comes out of it, even better, right? But just to be around him and listen to him, and talk and what have you. So anyhow, but this is not about me.
Yes.
Let's do this since we're here to piss people off about Jeet Kune Do,
Oh, let's go.
right?
Let's go.
What's good about Jeet Kune Do um, right now? Um, what has always been good about Jeet Kune Do? Is there anything?
Oh, the good outweighs the bad. But the problem is today, people want to linger on the bad stuff that doesn't matter. That's the issue. I mean, everything about
Hmm.
Jeet Kune. I believe it. I believe I said it last time we were on. He left us a blueprint, and I know maybe that's a wrong word, maybe to
No,
use,
no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
but he left us that, and he didn't leave it for us to bicker over, and that's what
Right.
it seems like we started to do with it. You never see some of the core elements of Jeet Kune. You don't even really see anymore
Yeah.
because one of the things that upsets me, and I was thinking about this last week, is that how come some of those on the other side, since people want to separate it for some reason, which I think is absolutely crazy. I think,
Hmm.
do you know that if we all came together, what kind of community we would have? It's insane. If the
Yeah.
original
Yeah.
guys and the concept guys came together,
Yeah.
the community would be amazing. But
Yeah.
it's funny that I notice on the other side of the pond, so to speak, the original side, and why I hate that term, but that side, they all punch with their hands down. Guru Dan, he put our
Ah.
hands up and put our hand. They're all punching with their hands down like Bruce did because they're trying to imitate that. Still, it seems like
Right.
sometimes, you know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
imitation isn't what it's about right now, man. We need to develop our own voice,
Hmm.
so to speak.
Hmm. Yeah. No, because see, that's the thing, right? Um, I learned to play drums by through mimicking what I was hearing. Like I
Yes.
knew where on the drum set the sounds that I was hearing, I knew where they would occur. Right? Why do I keep losing him? You keep you keep dropping out, my
I
friend.
know. I don't know why I'm back now, though.
Yeah, you keep dropping out, right?
Keep
So I was telling you, um, you don't have your phone on Facebook close by to the computer, right?
no.
Okay, good, right? Because sometimes that creates like an echo or whatever. Anyhow, I was telling you. So I learned how to play drums by ear
Uh huh.
and having a visual of where on the drum set I could the sounds that I was hearing where they would occur. So I learned to play drums by mimicking, but that's
Oh
not
yes, of
really
course.
knowing, right? You can only
Well,
get so far imitating.
at the beginning phase, we have to. I remember I used to walk like my instructor. I used to carry myself like my instructor. I used to, and then it was funny watching my instructor do the same to his instructor.
Uh
So
huh.
I think that I think it's natural at the beginning, but we should eventually break away from that, don't you think? And kind of develop our own identity with it.
Well,
You
so
know?
that puts me in mind of so I have three topics for upcoming issues of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast.
Uh huh.
One of them is the whole thing about personal expression.
Okay.
And essentially, it's this. I mean, I'll do the whole broadcast right now in 30 seconds. The personal expression thing, it can't occur until you have put in a lot of time,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You can't personally express yourself as a newbie. You'll be doing shit,
Yeah.
right? You know? Okay. So,
And the whole thing about repetition breeds habit. It seems like nobody is doing the repetition anymore. That's one thing I love about the traditional martial arts, and it's still very much part of me. Even though
mhm,
most that follow me around the world probably wouldn't even think of me as a traditional martial artist. But one thing
mhm,
I loved about it, and I still do, is that we would take one kick and work it for 2 hours. That's it.
right. Yeah.
Or one jab or one cross and just stroke the damn pad. Switch
Yeah.
sides,
You
sir.
see,
Stroke the damn pad. Switch sides, So that's kind of
but
false now.
in his everyday training, didn't Bruce Lee do something like that?
Oh, I'm sure he did.
If Bruce Lee is clocking, if Bruce Lee is
He was
clocking,
king of that.
right, if he's
Yeah,
clocking 500 punches in the morning and 500 punches in the evening,
yeah. I remember looking at his day timers. The finger jab,
yeah,
just him 500 a day. And I started doing 500 a day. I don't do that much right now, but my wife would tell you I still throw about 200 a day, 250 a day, and I do it
yeah,
throughout the entire day. I do it in the
Yep.
shower. The shower curtain is perfect for it. It pops, scrub, finger tap.
Right. Okay. So since you said that thing about traditional, right? Um, tell me the story of the origin of the taekwondo that you studied. I want
Yeah.
to see some. I want to see something. Like
The,
like
the, the,
where
the,
did it
the,
come from? Who
yeah.
started it?
My bloodline started with a man named Grandmaster Robert Harding. And what made him so unique was he had polio as a child. And it paralyzed his entire, I mean, pretty much paralyzed his entire right side of his body. He can't. His
Okay.
right arm was about that. Is still. He's still. I mean, he's still kicking and punching. His right arm's about that big, and he kept it in a little leather brace, and it would just kind of just hang here. But his left arm looked like mine, and when you sparred him, he was just because he couldn't really do the classic point fighting because of his limitations. He just
Hmm.
wanted to learn how to stroke the shit out of people, and
Hmm.
he did, and he became very good. So all of us from him, that trickled down the bloodline, so to speak, we
Hmm.
all kind of got that. Just learn to hit hard and hit fast, and keep doing it over and over and over again.
Okay. So now, so he had already modified the
Oh yeah,
original, right?
this man is a bow hunter with one arm. He made a mouthpiece for his bow, and it's on YouTube. Just put in Robert Harding Bowmaster, and you can see him
Okay.
do it. He'll pull it
Okay.
back, and he'll hunt like that. That's how innovative that man became
Right.
because of his
Right.
limitations. Because we have to innovate through struggle, through stress, through
Yes. Yeah.
limitation. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Right. So but you see where I'm going with this?
yeah,
He's modifying
yeah.
the so-called original. Now, who was his teacher?
I don't even know. I can't really even
Okay.
tell you. The buck started with him, and I followed
Okay.
along through his
Okay.
people. My
Right.
mentor was one of his right hand men.
Hmm.
So when I when I so-called left Grandmaster Horton, I went to his mentor, Grandmaster Brad Whitlow,
Hmm.
who I'm still with to this day.
Yeah.
35 years later, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I suspect that if we dig into everybody's background and history, what we'll find is that everybody had to change something in some way, small way, big way, whatever,
Yeah.
because of the circumstances,
Yeah. You
right?
know what? You know what's hilarious to me, bro? Not to cut you off, so sorry, but
That's all right. That's all
I'll lose it. It'll slip away and never come
right.
if I don't just get it out. Um, what kind of is hilarious to me is that nobody ever asked where Bruce Lee got it from.
Uh-huh.
I mean, let's be honest. He spent 5 years in Wing Chun.
Something like
That's
that.
that's really the only formal something like that. The only formal instructor Sifu relationship he had. And
There
we're
you go.
back.
Yeah.
So where did everything else come from? You know, he had
Um,
to get it from somewhere, and a lot of
well,
what
yeah.
we got from
Some of
tradition.
it came from. Some of it, I would say, all of it came from curiosity about
Yeah,
martial art, right? But then in terms of who it came from, I remember when I first came across, I think it's Gianfranco Mento's book.
uh-huh,
um I'm gonna mess up the title, but that was where I first heard about Fook Young and the Red Boat Wing Chun
uh-huh,
in Seattle,
uh-huh.
that Bruce Lee spent time studying with Fook Young, right? Then you hear about him spending time with Sato Sensei in judo
Uh-huh.
in Seattle.
You
right?
like in that picture
We
floating around with Bruce Lee with the black belt that he never earned. Let's keep
well
that in
that
mind.
right that was for purposes of photography,
Yes,
right? And
but
then there's supposed to be have been some kind of an exchange in the Hung family style,
uh huh.
right, as well. So, but I think that the driving force behind all of that was insatiable curiosity
Of course.
about martial art in general.
And if you don't have that, or when you stop having that, you stop growing. I mean, obviously, I think that curiosity and creativity is the driving force of the modern day martial artist. Is what I've wrote. So
Yeah,
it really, yeah, it really is.
yeah. I mean, and I think that we owe a lot to Bruce Lee for introducing that type of an idea,
For sure.
and then to Inosano for promulgating and
For sure.
promoting that idea, right, after Bruce Lee passed away. Inosano was telling the story last weekend about kick shields and focus mitts,
Yeah.
right? The, to the best of my knowledge, it's the JKD clan
Yeah. Yeah.
that is responsible for the
Yeah.
proliferation of striking equipment
Yeah.
in the use in the martial art world,
Yeah.
um,
I mean,
these days.
of course, boxers were doing it and stuff, but especially the kick and chills were very innovative because of the football background
Right?
from Guro Dan.
Yeah, yeah. Right. So okay, so you said that how should I put it? Everything in Jeet Kune, you know what? It reminds me of something that I say. A lot of stuff in humanity is good until the humans get involved. So everything in JKD is good
That's good.
until the human JKD exponents get involved,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. Yeah, I
right?
agree. I mean, we try
Um,
to we. Why do we have to overcomplicate this? Why do we
mhm.
have to overcomplicate the one art that was supposed to be
Simple.
simple and direct? They
Yeah.
love
Well,
floating that around, but yet we're overcomplicating it. The
yeah.
problem is people just don't get out there and do the do anymore. They don't just get out there and train and develop and put themselves out there. That's
What,
my biggest thing about all these people that like to talk crap online. I don't see many videos of you, and the videos I do see, you look like shit. Excuse my language.
is that?
But
It is that because there's a generation that grew up with technology that puts everything in front of them immediately.
I told somebody that the other day that I'm probably that my generation is the last of the old school. I really believe that. I came in just I'm 46 years old. I think that after 10 years after me, it's no more the old school. You can't really call it that. It's this
Hmm.
new thought process. It's this new and I think the old school was built on discipline, and I think that's what we've lost. When I
Yeah,
when, when I went to see Grandmaster Hio Cho in Hawaii, as soon as I walked in, he has this big plaque over the dojang floor, and it says House of Discipline. And
yeah,
it's almost like for a second, you look at it, and that's all that matters for that 1 second is that plaque. Even Grandmaster Hio Cho, even though he's standing beside you, you forget for 1 second, and you look and you go, "Oh, we're in it now.
hmm
We're in that discipline now."
hmm yeah,
I have a hard time now with my wife's health. We're getting her better, and I don't have a full time school anymore right now. I have a hard time sometimes motivating myself to get up and go do Carenza or go throw 5, 10, 20 spin hill kicks at a tree or
hmm
go walk 2 miles or run, but I freaking do it anyway.
yes,
I do it anyway, and
yeah,
it sucks. I mean, it's like, oh my god, and I hurt the next day, but I do it because I know that if I stop doing it and stop using the machine like it's supposed to be used, that it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. Where
hmm
soon the disciplines will be gone, and I'm just going to be the
yeah,
guy that used to be the guy, you know.
yeah.
And I don't ever want
So
to be the guy that used to be.
yeah, one of my guys, one of my Miami guys, Bucky, who was on here, he and I were talking about you yesterday because he was telling me how much he enjoyed last week, right?
Mm.
And I told him, I go, well, look, here's my basic breakdown of Billy Brown. He is intolerant of people who talk more than they do
And act,
because
yeah,
because of his background,
exactly.
because he comes from a background where, because the whole conversation started with, and this is another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast that's coming up. The whole thing was about choiceless observation, right? And I
Oh,
was like, Bucky, first of all, I don't know where it comes from, but I will research it. But I
yeah,
know it's not Bruce Lee's original term.
yeah.
He borrowed it from somebody else, right?
So yeah,
And I go, but Billy Brown is not the kind of guy that is going to be overly concerned with cute sounding phrases like choiceless observation. Forget observation, man. What's the action?
yeah.
Right?
Action.
So we were having that. So did I get it right about
Oh,
you?
oh, yes, sir. To the point. And it was funny the other day. A guy, there was a little young lady doing a taekwondo pattern, and she was sharp. And I commented, "She's super sharp at what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's super sharp."
Right.
And then the so-called grandmaster, Shihan, just shit all over her. And so I'm like, well, for you to do this to this young lady who's doing her thing and she's doing it well, why don't
Mm-hmm.
you post videos now to show her how to do it better? Of course,
Mm-hmm.
crickets. You get it? I will call you out no matter what.
Yeah.
If you are cutting down someone who's doing their thing, be it boxing,
Yeah.
taekwondo, karate, and I'm not a karate
Yeah.
guy, but I will still. I mean, if you're, so, and that goes right into Jeet Kune. I mean, let's
Yeah.
all get together and just post videos and show the world.
I blame technology for this
Yeah,
because people have always had their stupid opinions.
yeah,
Technology, however, for the past 30 years or whatever, has made it simple for idiots to put their stupid opinions in
oh,
front
like this,
of the world,
yeah, you're right.
right?
Mike Tyson has that quote. You've seen it. I mean, it's
We'll just have to put up with this. Like getting him back in every second.
what did the quote say that Mike says that the internet? How does he say it? When people can't get punched in the mouth anymore, because of the internet. You know, you
Yeah,
would never say that thing back before the internet. You never the stuff that we get away with online. We would never back in the day. You go back two
right.
decades before
Yeah,
me. So
yeah.
so back in the day, you wouldn't have nobody would have went up to Guru Dan back in the day and said the shit they talk about him online now to his face
Hmm.
back in his prime. They
Yeah.
wouldn't have done it.
I
You know?
think technology and social media has just served to inflate people's egos, right, and people's ideas about who they are and how much
Yeah,
they matter.
yeah.
You know what I mean, right? Um, so last week, I didn't do an issue of the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast. We talked about it because it just didn't seem the atmosphere just didn't seem conducive to getting on there and talking about Jeet Kune stuff when there were such serious things that going on in the world. But I did, and I know that you did too. So I wanted to ask you about it. How do you relate the world of political politics
Uh,
to the world of Jeet Kune politics?
well, let's just say the world of martial arts politics because it's
Okay.
it's all that's what it gets because it's all got it. Who's got it more? That's the question. Hell, I'm seeing FMA starting getting more into the politics side. I'm starting to see it, and I'm just like, man, we just used to like to swing swords and knives and sticks and call
Mhm.
it a day, but now so, but everybody wants to be right. But the problem is, if you don't investigate why you're right, you really don't know if you're right, and nobody wants to take the time to investigate no more. Nobody wants to take the time to discipline to you know.
Yeah. So how? How do you know if you're right or not? And what is there that you can be 100% right about? Is there anything, and how do you know it?
Well, the tides always change. So who knows? You may be right today and we may be wrong tomorrow. But I think that if you keep putting the action steps in,
Hmm.
I think that you will find some form of and some proof of being right, even if it's for you. But the problem is the other people that have not had those same discoveries may look at you as being wrong because they don't agree with your right. But this is how we do it. This is what I'm doing. I'm putting the action steps in. And you know what? I always welcome people to criticize me.
Hmm.
And because what it does is it opens my eyes up to look at what they're saying about me, and then I examine what I'm doing. And then
Hmm.
my grandfather used to always say, always double check your work, boy. And then at the end of his life, he used to say, always triple check your work, boy.
Yeah,
He died
yeah,
at 92 years old. He goes, I have to triple check my work now.
right.
So I think that people don't triple check their work. I think that's the problem. If you triple check yourself enough, everything you're doing, then you can say, look, this is how I feel that it's needs to be done, at least for me. But I
Yeah.
never, I never, I. It's funny that the concepts, guys, and I hate putting labels on Jeet Kune, man. That's why I call what I do Jeet Kune training methods. That's it. I take from
Hmm.
both sides, and if I like it, I'm gonna, because I've
Hmm.
trained with both sides. So, but I hate putting labels on it. But it's funny that the concepts guys never start the fights. Very, very rarely, that we start. I don't pick on. I don't. I'm not going to watch an original JKD guy and then all of a sudden just start in on him. That's not
Mm.
how Ken Asano did it. That's wrong. Why do you do this? We don't do it. We observe. We look. We take in. If let me tell you something. Joe Lewis once said this, and I stole it from him because it's fitting to steal this from him. Joe Lewis once said, "I'm the biggest thief in martial arts. You show me something, I'm going to take it and I'm going to work it until it's mine."
Uh,
And it's funny, the guy who introduced me to the FMA, Guro Ron Goins, to Jeet Kune, he opened up my world. He's the guy that opened up my world to the other things, after Taekwondo. And
mhm.
he used to tell me, as I was training under him, he used to go, you're the same way. You see it one time, and then next week you're doing it probably better. He used to always tell me that. He used to call me a sponge, and
Yeah.
now the original side will take these quotes and go simply to simplify. Like we should just have a jab across, a jeet check and a finger jab. That's it. Well, I've never followed that train of thought. I want to get as much information up here until it starts leaking out of my ears, and then I want to take it to the lab, and then in the lab when I'm training it all, the stuff that doesn't work for me, I throw it out, and that's how I am chipping away at the stone, so to speak.
Yeah, but you're Billy Brown. You're not Bruce Lee,
Yeah, that's true. That's
right?
true.
You know, right. So Bruce Lee is the only one who, where everything that he did was perfect,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They believe it. They
Every
believe it,
every
bro.
yeah, everything that he
But it's,
did is not supposed to be questioned.
and it's not just that. Everything he did, he was born knowing how to do it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
except for one thing. Except for one thing. Chuck Norris taught him how to kick.
Oh, right.
That's the funniest thing to me ever. It
Yeah,
really, you know.
yeah. Well,
If,
I
if
mean, look.
anybody, if anybody influenced Bruce Lee's kicking, it was June Reed. Bruce
Yeah.
Lee's kicking looked like June Reed's. It didn't look nothing like Chuck. Let's be honest. Now, I'm not discounting anything from Chuck Norris. He was an amazing point fighter, a real hardcore back in the guts and glory days of it
Hmm.
all.
Hmm.
But he was sloppy. His kicks. Let's be honest. His kicking was very sloppy, and
Well,
nothing taken away from Chuck Norris.
yeah.
But I once asked Joe Lewis because I spent nearly a decade with Joe at every seminar throughout my teens. Every seminar I could go to, I went, and I once asked him that. Did Chuck Norris teach Bruce Lee how to kick? And Joe Louis nearly fell out of his chair laughing. And that's all he had to say, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, I again, right? Because it's the internet and
yeah,
everybody has a shot, right? And for whatever reason, somebody says something, and then it gets repeated, and then it gets blown up, right? And gets repeated again, and then it gets changed,
yeah,
but the change gets repeated, and next thing you know, right? Chuck Norris is reported to have said this or said that or whatever,
yeah.
right? Well, why can't people just
You know what the problem is? People want to ride other people's legacies.
why
I've never been that guy.
why?
I wanted to build my legacy from 16 years old. I'm like, I'm gonna make some moves. I'm gonna develop something that is uniquely me,
Yeah.
and I'm going to put myself out there. I was selling my VHS tapes. Thank God they're all gone because that shit was probably horrible. But I was selling my VHS tapes out of my car and to my students at 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I was mailing them to people. I was stuck on VHS. So I put myself out there from the get go,
Yeah.
and I wish more people would do it because guess what? We would all grow from it.
You
Because
know.
all these people I see over here on this line, I don't know them all, but I guarantee you we
Mhm.
got some world class martial artists here, and I would
Yeah.
love to learn from them.
Um.
And my mom's there. That woman can work a knife. Let me tell you.
I think I just realized something about you. That kind of hustle, that kind of 18-year-old hustle that you just described, I bet you saw that in Paul Vunak. That kind of hustle.
He. Everybody knows my loyalty and yeah, Vu grew me to and he knows that now because we've talked about it. And you're probably right because that's a good point I've never thought about because I went when I started training my mom, she's right there in the comments. She'll agree with this, but mom, give me allowance. As soon as she give me allowance, I'll look in the Black Belt magazine. I'd order the next video tape. I'd give me allowance, look in the next Black Belt magazine, order the next, and I want more. She's like, no, you don't get more. So
Right.
so I would just because that was I'd go to the school and train, but I wanted to train at home. So my
Uh-huh.
stepdad built me a gym upstairs, and so when I got home, I was in the gym. I didn't even eat dinner sometimes. I was in the gym training.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just how I was. I just wanted to learn it all from everybody that I could. And I
Right.
still have I don't have that ability to do that anymore, like in person, like I would like to, like
Hmm.
you're so lucky to be able to do right now. But because of the internet, it's one good thing about the internet, man. I can study from. If I feel like learning karate tonight, I will put it on and I will
Yeah.
watch 15 hours of it. You know,
Yep. Yep. I hear you. Um. Yeah, because I can remember being not even conflicted, right? Because I remember counting the number of. Wait, hold on a second. I have to show this comment to the crowd.
come on. I told you. Yeah, I told you.
Oh
I,
my god,
yeah,
that's hilarious.
that's how it
That's
was.
hilarious.
Yeah. And
Right?
she knew. And I tell everybody, when my father passed, the only real connection I had with him was he would teach in the summers. He would teach me kicking and punching. He would duck. He would wrap tape around butter knives and do
Right.
whatever. He wasn't a polished FMA guy or a polished. But to me, at the time, at 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, that was my Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
father. You know what I mean? So when he
Billy.
passed, my mom knew that I needed that connection, and she just
Right.
threw me back in training.
Right. Listen, if Jeet Kune is the search for truth in combat, right?
Uh-huh.
Is the truth in combat 5 punches and 3 kicks.
But okay, this is where it all loses some people because I personally don't think that Jeet Kune is the truth in combat. I
No,
don't think any martial
the
art.
search for truth.
Yes, I don't. I don't think any martial. I don't think that arts win fights. I think
Right.
that everything has its place, and if we can extrapolate that and strip it down to its core,
Hmm.
and then we got to learn the mental game because from a guy that's been in lots of freaking fights, when it gets down to it, this if you don't have this, you can be the best you can know man in the world. Is what I'm trying to say, and you'll lose.
Yeah.
You'll get beat badly.
Yeah.
Whatever art you'll lose if you don't have this. So that's why I separate my martial art programs from my adaptive combatives programs. Now, will you see Jeet Kune in my adaptive combatives programs? Sure, but you won't see it like that. Like over this side, I'm going to go figure jab, straight blast, bite his nose off. I won't say that on this side. I will go by jump
Ah,
stance, shuffle,
right,
retreat,
right.
side step, figure jab.
Uh-huh.
So one is the art, one is the martial. Now, in the end, it all
Now,
you're not
is
going to know what art you pull from when this big football player that just did 5 lines
uh-huh.
of cocaine is on top of you. You're not
Yeah.
going to go, oh, that's cocaine. You get it?
Is that somewhat related to Vunak's
Of course,
self preservation versus self
self perfection.
perfection, right?
Of course. And
Yeah, yeah.
I still use that. See, I found Vu. You know that old saying, when the pupil is ready, the master will appear.
Uh,
Is it something like that? I don't. I'm not good at
Something like that.
quoting
Yeah.
like some of these JKD people are. But 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 uh, but see, I started my own school at 18, and I knew nothing about business. I was just a talented martial artist.
Right. Right.
So I said to help pay the bills, I'm just going to start being a bouncer because I'm a talented martial artist. So I threw myself in bouncing world. In first week, I'm like, shit, being talented martial artist isn't going to save me here. And
Hmm.
that's when I discovered Vunak, and he changed my mindset. If you change your mindset, then it changes how you do the things you do, and you teach with conscience when
Yeah.
you've seen violence.
Yeah.
A lot of martial artists haven't seen violence; they haven't been a part of it, and that's okay. I wish that I wouldn't have done 20 years of it. I did 20 years. I should have done 5 and got out. That would have been probably enough knowledge to feel good with sharing with people. I just stayed in. I
Right.
mean, and I got addicted to it, and that's when I knew that something was wrong. When you got addicted to the
Um,
violence.
can so I have two, which what I consider most memorable things that I got from Vunak. Do you have
Uh-huh.
anything like that? I have
Oh,
two.
yeah.
Let me
Okay,
see what
10,000.
if you have any. Okay, tell me what
Uh,
some of yours are, and let's see how they compare.
you know, one of my biggest things I love from Vu is the first is with the mostest is the bestest. And that was my that shaped me. And then
Okay.
I started studying violence and I started studying ABC, attack behavioral cues. I started understanding how humans act in the field or in the jungle because it's kind of like a jungle kind of because we're all animals out there,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if you start looking at the different animals and seeing how they interact when they're around each other, seeing how they spike violence, some are just gonna just bark and leave. Some are going to bark and push you. Some are
Hmm.
going to bark and hit you. Some are going to bark, push you, and hit you. You have to learn to discern those things. What I call ABCs, attack behavioral cues.
Okay.
And once you register the ABC and you know that violence is imminent, you need to be first. But if you can't be first, you need to be last. And if you in between it all, you have to be in between it all. If he's hitting me, I'm hitting him at the same time if I can. And
Hmm.
so I love how Vu really broke that down for me. And as a young guy, it really helped shape my bouncing and then later on my bodyguard work, et cetera, which I never saw any action in bodyguard work, but I still like to plug that in. I was a bodyguard for a couple times. But but working clubs was, and I worked the worst clubs in every state I was in. So
Right.
so being first, but see, you can't just be first. If my point in that is, if the guy is a guy that's just gonna bark and leave, and you hit him, that's not good. That's not what I'm talking about. You have
Hmm.
to learn to read intention, and you have to learn to read mindset of the other
Yes.
opponent. So that's what I say. It's more of a mental game because you're becoming a psychologist almost,
Hmm.
a violence psychologist, and you're
Yeah.
having to learn to you having a because if you go too soon, not only did you hurt someone that you probably didn't need to hurt, and I did that a lot,
Right. So Billy,
admitted, and I wrote that in my book.
way of the intercepting fist. Fist is metaphorical.
It's yes, it could be way of the intercepting intention. It could be
Hmm.
so you have to learn to be a when
So Bruce Lee didn't have it all worked out by 32, huh?
no in his book. I love telling people this because they don't believe me until I show them the page. I love the pages with Ted Wong where he's crescent kicking the knives out of people's hands.
Yeah.
You seen those pages? And I'm
Yeah.
like, so this guy wasn't the combat genius that everybody thought he
Yeah.
was. Would he have become that? Sure, sure. But
Yeah,
you
because he
see,
was curious.
Bruce never studied the psychology of it all. I mean, he was studying psychology, but he never studied the psychology of violence. I don't believe. I don't believe
I,
he
I,
really delved
I,
quite
I
into
mean,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So here's the thing from Vunak that still resonates with me. ETGS.
Okay.
You remember that?
ETGS.
ETGS stood for two things:
Okay.
eyes,
Oh yeah,
throat,
yeah, yeah,
groin,
yeah. That's
shin,
classic.
knee, but also escape to gain
Gang
safety.
safety. Yeah.
Remember? Right?
Classic stuff. Yeah, I love
So
it. Love it all.
that's one. The other one comes from his Filipino stick fighting tape, where he
Uh-huh.
breaks down, right, all of the eight basic inward backhand using high and low, the eight basics that
Hold
really
on,
give
I'm
you.
losing you a little.
Yeah, can you hear me?
It out.
Okay.
Start that over.
Okay.
That whole thing.
Yeah. The eight basics of inward backhand, right? The double
Okay.
stick stuff,
Oh yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Where you have high low,
yeah. Yeah,
high
low.
low high low low, and then you have the four that start with low, and then he shows you how
Yeah.
those eight are really 64,
Yes.
right? When I saw that,
Yes.
I was like, okay, this Kali, there's something to it,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? You know,
Well, that
so
comes directly from Guru Dan.
yeah, yeah. But those
Talked about
those
that
two
last time.
things.
Guru Dan is the teacher, man. I mean, he's a teacher.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
and I think that a lot of the other side of the pond guys, I think somehow being a teacher insults them. Like they want to make it where you shouldn't need material to teach. But if you think about it, that's the only way we're going to be able to teach is if we have material to teach.
Well, yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
think
it's
that's
it's
really
it's
and
like
that's another reason why I separate the combatives from the martial side of it
right.
or from the art side of it is because I can teach you how to fight. Give me 1 hour with you, you're going to walk away knowing some
Hmm.
stuff.
Okay.
You're going to
Let's
walk away
let's
knowing some brutal
let's
surgical stuff that
right.
could
Let's
possibly
talk
save
about
you.
that. Let's talk about that because here's their criticism of Inosano. Inosano violated Bruce Lee's teaching of the daily decrease because he kept
Yeah.
adding, right? This is their criticism. He
Yeah.
kept adding. Now, some of them are so dumb that they say that he kept adding styles to Jeet Kune Do, right? Okay.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
how do you look at the whole daily increase versus daily decrease thing in the Jeet Kune Do context?
First off, let's talk about the adding of styles. I remember the first time I trained with Guru Dan, and I was a PFS guy. I was a Vunat guy, and I remember Guru Dan was teaching the jab was coming in, split entry, pak out, right? Basic stuff. But I was doing the gunting, pak out, right? From the PFS
Because
side
that's
of the game,
PFS.
so to speak. And I remember, and even when I'm 21, 22, 21 years old, and I remember Eric Paulson putting his hand on my shoulder and he whispered it to me. He goes, "Don't do it like that." I'm like, "What do you mean, sir?" He goes, "Don't do the gunting." He goes, "Because they're always watching." And then he walked off. I've told Eric this. And and I didn't, oh, by the way, at the time, I didn't know what the hell he meant by that. It totally went right over my head. You know what I mean? But now I get it. I have never trained with Guru Dan where he taught a Jeet Kune class and blending it with Kali. I'm not saying he doesn't do that with his with guys like you and you want to see the core, but every seminar I've been to, because I don't get to spend time with him like you do. Every seminar I've been to, it was Jeet Kune we were learning. Mm-hmm. And in the Kali class, it was Kali. In the Silat, it was Silat. In the Muay Thai, it was Muay Thai. Mm-hmm. You know, so this whole thing about him blending, no, they're just mad because he loves other things other than what a very young man who died 50 plus years ago left him, you know?
Yeah. We do have we do have to blame Vunat for confusing people, you know, by putting in the gunting with the Paksao.
Vu tried to go combatives before he knew how to do. So in other words, like guys like me, for example, with adaptive combatives, or guys like Lee Morrison with urban combatives. Those guys just did it, and they don't say this comes from Jeet Kune, this comes from. But Vu coming straight from Dan, he had the right mindset. But he just had that teacher's mindset that he got from Dan, and he didn't know quite what he was doing or if it would get ridiculed later. Nor does Vu give a shit.
Exactly.
Nor should he.
Well, see, so I wonder how many people are aware that Bruce Lee used a term called rim shots. Do you know that? That Bruce Lee used the term rim shot? You know what a rim shot is in Bruce Lee's terminology? Strikes to the limbs.
It's giving me all kind of images of what it could be.
Yeah, well, I mean, no. Rim shot is a drumming term, okay? Right? It's when you hit. It's when you hit close to the edge. When you hit close to the edge of the snare drum, for example, that's a rim shot. But Bruce Lee's idea, right? A rim shot is when you attack the limb. So strikes to the arms or the legs in JKD terminology are rim shots. Well, what is a gunting?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It attacks the limb.
And you know, Bruce was an avid. How many boxing books did he have in his library? Do you know offhand? I know you would know that. A lot. Right?
I know I have the graphic because somebody put it up the other day. I think it was Pat Finley in his new book, Deconstructing Jeet Kune.
I have to check that out. Yeah.
I think.
My point in that is, even in Jack, a long time ago, he talks about hitting the limbs too, or punching the arms. You know,
right. Because nobody owns movement. Right.
That's it. Nobody owns movement. Yeah, that's it. You know, movement is universal. We do it differently. Different arts may approach it differently, but there's nothing new under the sun, man. And the only way I always tell people that the only way we make it new is by the way we evolve it and or teach it. Yeah. You know, and share it. If we share it differently to somebody else.
Ramon says it's 350 books on boxing. Yeah. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was he looking for? Why amass
Hold on,
a
you're breaking up.
collection? Sorry, why amass a
You may
collection?
not be breaking up. You may not be
Can
breaking
you
up
hear
to
me
the
now?
people, but you're.
Is it better now?
Hold on one second.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
Are we
Yeah, I think
good?
you're good.
Are we good? Okay. Right? Oh no. Okay. What was Bruce Lee looking for amassing a collection of 2500 books?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
You're just
Uh,
choppy.
okay. Um, yeah, your image is a little bit shaky
This damn thing.
also. So I'm wondering if it's the internet connection. Yeah. Okay. Are you good now? No? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're just breaking up a lot.
Yeah. I think what's the weather like by
It,
you? Is it
I, it could be that, but you sound good now. Talk to me.
okay? No, I was asking you
There you go.
what do you think Bruce Lee was looking for in amassing a collection of over 2000 books?
I don't think I don't think he had an idea what he was looking for. I think he was looking for it all, like I was growing up. I wanted it all. I wanted to be good at every damn thing. And
Uh-huh.
if that whole 540 tricking kicking that they do now, if that would have came out when I was a teenager, I probably would have tried that too. I mean, you know, but I
Yeah.
wanted, but at the same time though, that would have been just for fun. I wanted to learn to fight right away, and I think above all, that's what Bruce wanted. He wanted to learn to
Uh-huh.
fight, so he was trying to discover the answers to this. He
So,
was like Bruce Lee was like Elvis to me. What I mean by Elvis was the first one to do it, so he made all the mistakes because nobody was there to say, I wouldn't do that.
uh,
He was the first rock star to. So when people insult Elvis for the things he did, it's like, man, he paved the way for everybody else to screw up. He didn't have nobody to look back on. He didn't have
right,
nobody to look back on and go, this is how you do it. This is how you become a.
right.
So I
Yeah,
think Bruce Lee was a lot like
I mean I didn't grow up in a place where Elvis was a thing, so I don't know that much about him, but
real quick, Sifu. Elvis is a thing everywhere. I
uh
swear to my mom will tell you. I
no,
swear, listen, I started
not
falling asleep in that
not
building 4 years old.
yeah, no, not here, right? Otherwise he'd be on the wall. But here's the thing, right? I have him downloaded to listen to.
Yeah.
It's two NPR interviews of people who worked with him,
Oh yeah.
right? Because I have them downloaded to listen to because doesn't mean much to me to paraphrase Public Enemy, but I know. But see, here's the thing: personally, doesn't mean much to me, but I can't ignore him when he
Yeah.
meant so much to so
So
many
many.
other
Yeah.
people,
Yeah. It's
right?
true.
That would be stupid.
And think about the similarities with Bruce Lee and him. A lot of people don't care about Bruce. I remember when my mentor, my Taekwondo mentor, Grandmaster Whitlow, who is probably one of the best kickers on earth, in my opinion. When he
Mhm.
first saw Bruce Lee running across the yard kicking that bag, he nearly fell out of his chair laughing. He said that is the worst, shittiest kicking I've ever seen in my life. He did.
Right.
He didn't need to run. Brad Whitlow could pick up that side kick and put it in your rib and put it back down, and you bust your liver.
Mhm.
Where Bruce Lee was running across the yard, he goes, "Why is he running and kicking?" He goes, "What is he? Who's going to stand there and let him just run across the yard and kick the bag?" So my point is, not everybody loves Bruce Lee. You know,
Right.
I'm not a Bruce Lee worshiper. That's very obvious. What
Yeah.
I do love, what I do love, I only worship God, Jesus Christ. But what I do love is the art he left us has so much potential, and it should have made so much ripples around the world by now. It should have been bigger than Taekwondo. It should have been bigger than karate. It there it's
So
he was a movie
so
star. It could have
why
been huge
why why wasn't it, or why isn't it?
because in his short time here on Earth, he wanted to become the best movie star. So by doing that, he had to sacrifice a little bit of the art, so to speak, or not the art of
Ah.
the presentation. And I think
Ah.
that after that, people just followed along. I hear still people saying, hell, they've said it to me in the past when they see classes of 30 or 40 adults doing Jeet Kune, they go, Jeet Kune should only be taught to 5 people at a time. That's bullshit. Let's introduce it to the world.
Really?
It's not.
Five people?
It's not the Bible. Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah, yeah,
ridiculous. That's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah,
Um, I I assign the responsibility for its lack of growth to partially to him, but
yeah,
then also to his followers who took his
yeah,
advice,
yeah,
right? Because I think that when you have something that is of such immense value, then you kind of owe it to the world to put
yeah.
it out there. But instead, there was this idea that no, 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 you don't look. Here's what I find really interesting, right? If you study the history of Jeet Kune Do alongside the history of Junri and Taekwondo,
Yeah.
okay? In 1970, over on the east coast of the United States, right? Junri made a plan to expand Taekwondo. In 1970, on the west coast of the United States, a plan, so to speak, was made to minimize Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah.
Now, what's ironic about that for me is that if you read Junri's um, book about him and Bruce Lee was advising him about business.
Oh yeah.
Imagine that.
Uh
Bruce
huh.
Lee advises Junri about business. Junri develops a Taekwondo empire, and the knowledge of the business knowledge of the founder of Jeet Kune Do, it has no effect on his art.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
That I
What
find ironic.
man? Think about if we all just got along. If we all just shared openly with each other. If we all just if we all just Dale Mountain, the guest internet router is on Mars. Hey, my side's working fine. Seafood Dwight's the one that's breaking up, Dale.
I
So,
see.
had to put that in check real quick. So, but my point is, I just wish that we would all come together more, but it's not gonna happen. And you brought up politics earlier. It's not gonna happen,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
no.
And it's sad, but sometimes you just got to say f what everybody else is doing and do
Yeah.
your own thing, pave your own road, build your
Yeah.
own legacies.
But you said something, right? And again, I'm not painting with a wide brush here. Okay.
Uh-huh.
But I'll tell you this. I think it's next weekend. And if there was nothing on the books for me and Ron,
Uh-huh.
I wanted to go to the three instructors Jeet Kune Do seminar in New York with Richard
Okay.
Torres,
Oh, I saw it. Yeah.
right? Octavio Quintero and
Yeah.
Joaquin Marcelo,
Yeah.
right? If there had been nothing previously on the books, I would have gone to that.
Yeah.
But
And if I had the
conversely,
means, I would
right? But conversely, I don't
have.
think either of them would come to Titans in Miami next February with
Exactly.
Cass Magda and Chris Kent. I
Exactly.
don't think they would, you know? And so what you said about the different sides, I think definitely one side, and I'm like you, I hate the labels,
I do
but
too.
I think one side is definitely more open minded, okay, to exploration. The problem is that you get condemned if your exploration takes you beyond Bruce Lee. I mean,
Yes.
how in heaven's name does the world of martial art end with Bruce Lee?
52
How?
years. Yeah.
How? He was
52 years.
32 years old.
Attacks were different. Enemy threats were different. Um,
Yeah.
uh, the way people, yeah. So, and yes, and the biggest thing, he was 32 years old.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that some people get to the point where, and we're both there. You're there more than me, but if you think about it, we've been practicing Jeet Kune Do longer than the founder was alive. That's crazy to think about,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's almost like, I would hate to think that Bruce Lee would have wanted us to just become stale and
Hmm.
just quit moving forward. I really
Hey,
would.
so can you read this from Greg Kennedy? He says JKD instructors in the past watered it down to make money. Do you agree with that? What is he talking about? What,
I'm not sure.
watered it down to make money? How? How? What do you think he means?
I'm not sure. But you know what it could mean? He could mean is
Yeah.
that, and a lot of people attack people that are making money
How?
doing
How?
keeping
Okay.
their craft.
How did you water down Jeet Kune Do to make money? Tell me how you did it.
Apparently, just by selling it. If I
Yeah.
could do it for free, I would. If
Yeah.
I could do it for free, I would. But unfortunately, we have families, and some of us, this is all we've ever done. And even
Right.
though I don't have a full time school anymore right now, the
Hmm.
hint in the future that will happen again. But it's still my number one. My video sales and my private classes is how I feed my family and
Yeah.
keep my wife with medication.
Yeah.
Why now? Why should I feel bad about that? I have dedicated my entire life since 4 to martial arts.
Hmm.
My mom says 3, but I have memories 4 or 5, I think. But it's all I've ever known, all I've ever done.
Hmm.
Why should I feel bad for getting paid to share my passion and my craft with others if it affects them positively?
Yeah.
That's the big key.
Yeah.
If I'm not moving people forward and empowering souls, then please don't pay me.
Oh, okay. All right. So here, I think this is what this here's what he says. Bruce didn't like techniques.
But yet, the whole fighting method books, nothing but techniques in it.
What the heck does that mean? He
Nothing
didn't
but techniques.
like techniques.
In fact,
So,
you remember the little screenshot where he's doing the movie role? Here's a finger jab, the back fist, all techniques. You can kick here. If I stand back a little bit, I can kick high.
yeah,
All techniques. So no, that's wrong. Also, Greg, I'm sorry, buddy.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, because okay, so if he didn't like techniques, he liked. Because where do you go? Where do you go without techniques?
It's the mindset. Like
Right?
what can you won't have a martial art without techniques.
Exactly. There is no martial art without techniques.
No, there's nothing. There's
In
nothing that
fact,
we do physically in life that doesn't involve technique.
it
Driving a
has
car, if you
to.
don't have technique, you go be in the ditch.
It has to, right? There is even in the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, he might not use the word techniques, but there's a list of some weapons of Jeet Kune Do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm sure Greg has a better explanation than Bruce didn't like techniques. I'm sure he means something a little bit deeper than that, right?
You should have told Raymond Chow that when he was filming in a dragon. That's a lot
Right?
of techniques
I
in there.
guess what Greg is saying is that if Jeet Kune Do instructors created a lot of training a lot of training methods that featured different. So, for example, if I create um, a 3 count boxing technique,
Yeah.
jab, cross, hook, and then I change the hook to uppercut, and then I change the hook again to body hook instead of the head hook,
Yeah.
right? So now in my school, we train 3 different 3 count boxing combinations, right? I think what Greg is saying is that Bruce Lee would not have liked the fixed pattern of that.
I don't know. I disagree with that. I mean, come on. He's the guy that was studying Muhammad Ali through a mirror. I
Yeah.
mean, he was the guy that was Bruce Lee was collector. Sorry, guys. He was the one training with Hugh Reed. He was the one training at Ed Parker's school, or going to
Yeah.
spar Ed Parker's black belts. Who I've spent time with one of them, by the way, Grandmaster Jim Thompson, Kempo guys out there. I spent some time with him, learning a lot of stories about both Elvis and Bruce Lee. And my point is, everything has to move forward, man. If you
Yeah.
look at old football training videos of like the 40s and 50s, they don't look like today. Thank God.
Mhm.
But you see, for some reason, everybody wants to pigeonhole Jeet Kune and have
Yeah.
it stuck in a time capsule, so to speak.
Yeah. You
And
know, that's one of Inosano's problems, right? And I don't mean that it's his problem,
yes,
but one of his problems is that he's an athlete. He was an athlete,
yeah,
and he was very influenced by athletic coaches.
for sure.
And so to this day, he makes his analogy is this: every week in the NFL, they study the opposition. They study the fighting techniques of the opposition,
Mm-hmm.
right? In football, because if Miami knows that they're playing Baltimore during the week of practice before the game, they study Baltimore's offense,
Of course, yeah,
right? So Inosano's point is, well, you got to do that in martial art too.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you know how to kick and punch, but you might get into a fracas with a guy who knows how to take you down and choke you out, you
Well,
better study,
yeah,
right, how
that's
to
always been
defend.
the problem with martial arts, and that goes back to me separating two
Mhm.
the art and the combative side or the martial side is because in most arts it was always you would train and spar against people from that art, and
Right.
that's one thing that Jeet Kune did. I think that was good. Is that Bruce Lee had so many people around him from different backgrounds. And I think that really helped kind of grow Jeet Kune because he was
Well,
sparring against a boxer. He was
well, yeah,
sparring.
yeah. See, so now with Inosano training, right? See, Inosano, especially in the early days, it was not art. It was skill, kicking skill, boxing, punching skill, trapping skill, grappling skill. So now the experiments that went on at the Kali Academy, right, would be grappling versus kickboxing. That
Yeah.
was the
Oh,
experiment.
yeah.
That was the Jeet Kune Do training. You see? But the problem is that's easy to do in class with 10 to 12 guys. You see? But you can't do that in a gymnasium or on a basketball court like we were in Dallas, right, a few weeks ago with 60 people.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah. And,
So
and
it can't be done that way, not exactly that way. Get off my screen, right? So so I think a lot of the Inosano detractors, and I don't want to make our conversation all about him, but I think a lot of the Inosano detractors, they just have no idea. They don't understand what he's doing. They've
not
never
that,
understood what he's doing.
yes, they're upset that he moved on to other things, so to speak. And he never really moved. He never really moved
No,
away from Jeet Kune, but he
no,
loves other
no.
things. And it would be a boring life for me in my opinion, to just do Jeet Kune, I'd be bored out of my mind. I am
Well,
way too old.
especially if what you're trying to say is that it's five punches and three kicks.
Yes, yes, yeah. Now
Okay,
creating through it and
right?
creating the drills
That
through it and
yeah,
stuff.
right. That
Then I go right back to
that here's what it is. The guy moves, you kick him in the shin or you kick him in the groin, and you finger jab him in the eye, right? And that's the end of the fight.
and you see this is the truth, guys. This is where it's going to piss you some of you off. Bruce never got to the part where he never understood the sparring mentality. That's a term I coined and I wrote and it's in my book. I talk about it. I have a whole chapter on the sparring mentality. I believe that the sparring mentality is the number one reason why world class martial artists and even world class competitors, and I saw it. I was in that violence for 20 years. I saw every phase. I saw from the tap out to the American fighter to I saw all of the phases through the years. Okay, but he approached combat as a sparring match. When in reality, that's what hurts. That's what gets us hurt. We don't spar on the street. Are you following me? If I rip your ear off and headbutt you and run to my car and leave, that's no sparring. That's me done type of mentality. And that's violence. That's how you end the
Well,
violence.
well, see, and now here's the thing, right? Isn't that interesting what you just said? Because here's the contention: latter stage or late stage Jeet Kune Do or whatever. You know, all the stuff that came after he said to Taki Kimura or whomever that Chisao is out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now there's no more trapping or anything. Bruce Lee, in his late stage before he died, was all about maintaining distance
Yeah.
and just pot shotting at you. He didn't need to bridge the gap
Yeah.
and trap and whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
So since that's what he was working on, what that now doesn't that sound like what you just described, sparring,
It was sparring. Yeah.
right?
And that wouldn't have worked in today. Just look on. You saw the young lady that got just brutally murdered on the tram or whatever it was. You know that, right?
Yeah,
Where's the
yeah,
sparring? How could she have sparred against that? You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? That's no sparring anymore. People walk up to you and stick a blade in you. Or people walk up to
yeah,
you, sucker punch you. Or people go walk up to you and spit in your face and hit you.
yeah.
That's the
What?
violence we see today.
Okay, let's do this. When you first saw that video, right? What?
I can't watch it. I didn't watch it.
Okay, okay, I
I
did.
try to stay far away. I'll go dark. I'll go dark real quick if I watch
Okay,
something like that.
I did. Right?
Yeah, I
Because
know how brutal it was though.
I did because the last time that I was on public transportation
Uh
was
huh.
today.
Uh,
I take the train, right? I take the train at least twice a week.
yeah,
Okay. So I watched it because that type of thing is very personal to me. Okay. And I discussed it. I forget who I was discussing it with. Okay. So, I mean, not to discredit her in any way or whatever, but I do not sit on the train where I cannot control the door.
I don't
Okay.
sit in a restaurant like that.
I
That's the difference between the art and the martial.
listen. Ronnie and I went to Ruth Chris in LA the last weekend, right? Before I sat down, okay, I scanned the entire room, right? Now we're at Ruth Chris. Come on, right? Ain't much gonna go on there, right? But I still scanned the room to see, based on where they're putting us to sit,
Uh huh.
who looks like potential whatever and whatever. And there's probably no need for that,
Yeah.
but it's built in.
It's built in.
So when I looked at the video of that poor girl, I was like, if that had been me, if I can't control the seat, I stand. I'm not sitting down where there's going to be people behind me that I can't control,
Yeah, yeah.
you know? And
No, this is the thing, Bruce. And it's hard for me to speak with any kind of definites in an era that I wasn't alive in, with a man that I never knew. But my observations through the years of this 42, 43 years training martial arts now, I think that, and I started teaching very young, just like he did. I think that we teach when we're young what we're good at, and he was a hell of an athlete.
yes,
That's what he. That's what he taught.
he
He.
never matured as an instructor.
That's right. That's
In,
right.
in fact, he was a terrible instructor.
The first year my school was open in Gonzales, Louisiana, I maybe made $200 because every time the students would come in, instead of teaching, I'd put pads on and we would just spar for 2 hours.
Right.
And they would all limp away, bloody noses, and I'd be like, "Great night, guys. See you tomorrow." They were my glorified sparring partners.
Right.
It was
Right.
for me. And as you mature as an instructor, you do it for the student. You approach
Yes.
it with different eyes, so to speak.
Yes. Right. I say all the time. We probably talked about this last week. Bruce Lee is like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson can't teach anybody how to box.
And
Mike Tyson, he's too interested in his own development.
That's right.
I think Bruce Lee was like that to a certain degree.
Now the
You
thing
know?
is, we never got to see him get old, like your dad told me 20
Yeah.
20 years ago. We
Yeah.
never got to see him get old. He
Yeah.
would have matured into a great instructor, and I believe wholeheartedly that
Of course he
he
would
would
have.
have became teaching more. I really
Of
do.
course he would have, because he was a highly intelligent man,
He was.
right? He was highly intelligent. But you cannot, right? You cannot, Bucky and I talk about this all the time. You can't assign your own personal wishes of what might have happened onto Bruce Lee. You have to deal with the reality of what did happen and what Bruce Lee was and how far or not far he got.
Everybody wants to pack this weight on a man's shoulders who never matured to carry it. But we want to throw it on his shoulders anyway. He never matured himself to carry it. He was
Mm-hmm.
still figuring himself out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and at 32 years old, I was too. Hell, I still am. You know, and I'm getting closer to 50, and I'm still. I mean, I do so. I've been looking at some of my older videos from like 20 years ago, and I'm like, God, what was I doing? Because I did something right now. You know,
give me an example of that you look at it now and you're like, oh my God.
What was I looking at earlier? I forgot what video it was.
Let me make it a direct question. Have you changed or modified or altered anything when it comes to trapping hands?
Oh yeah. If you look at my early trapping videos, I was doing all the shit I tell people not to do today. All of it. The whole my thing I preach, you don't come back to go forward. I was doing that. I was cocking it and hitting, and I thought at the time it was state of the art. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was doing the whole looping back fist when I don't do that anymore. You know, I punch, pow, or I figure jab, pow. You know what I mean? Or paw, you know, or whatever. But see, as you mature in this, and as you stay in the game, so to speak,
right,
your body and your mind will teach you to do it better. It will age with you. I always tell people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, isn't it interesting that some people will describe what you just mentioned there as sacrilege because you're changing things as opposed, and other people will call it growth.
Yeah.
You know,
it's so funny though. They don't ever say nothing when they see Bruce Lee doing. Look, he looked totally different just 3 years before. You get what I'm saying? 3 to 4 year span. And he looked totally like a different human being.
Look at the pictures in the Chinese Kung Fu book.
Oh yeah,
right. Taken in Seattle, and then look at the pictures in the taken in Los Angeles for the Fight and Method book.
Yeah, that's right.
Right there.
So it's hard to believe that he Had he had lived, he in 20, let's say what he would be what now? He's was he young? He's younger than
He'd turn 80, 85 this year.
85. It's hard to believe that he would look anything like he did in 73. I know he wouldn't have to, he wouldn't be as athletic. Who knows? Maybe he would. Look at Guro. I mean, it's amazing that he is still teaching like he is. But he would look. I guarantee you, he would do stuff differently. You know,
Well, you'd have
and
to.
the whole thing of trapping him in some kind of time capsule just upsets me because it's kind of almost disrespectful to him, his own movement forward. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like he was trying to move. You know, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to
Well,
explain because I wasn't there. But I will
yeah.
say that there's no doubt in my mind that if he had lived to 83, he would still look like he did in 73. Or if he had lived in 1993,
Yeah.
no, two different people. Yeah,
I think the problem for a lot of people is that they're not able to wrap their heads around the fact that two things can be true at the same time.
that's true.
So they're not able to wrap their heads around the fact that there's the physical art of Jeet Kune, which only got so far
Yeah,
because he died before he could fully develop it. But he was so intelligent that there's the philosophical aspect of Jeet Kune, which is a mind expanding entity.
and that's the same thing. He died before he could expound on that.
Yeah, right? But he was smart enough to copy passages from other people
Yeah,
and put it into his own personal notes.
yeah.
And
He didn't.
thank God he did that,
Yeah,
because then we are able to come see what he was thinking and where he might have been headed.
that's right.
You
And
see?
also at the same time, we're willing to say all of this. He said it when most of it he didn't say shit.
You know what's the funniest one of those? It's the one um, where they put pictures
Even
of
to be
him,
like water isn't his. Even to be like water wasn't his.
right? But it's the one where they put pictures of him and Brandon, and it's the one about Bruce Lee said, don't give your children all this and all that, that you didn't have when you were growing
Exactly.
up. Instead, give them whatever. And I'm like, come on, man, right? It's like you can take any cool saying that you come across and make a meme of it and assign it to Bruce Lee, and people are going to swallow it.
So, yeah. And yeah. And you know what? That's how legends are made.
Yeah.
That's how legends are made. That's just
Hey,
it. I mean,
hey, look, there she strikes again.
show us some stuff. She's crazy. Crazy.
That's her. That's your girl.
That's it. She kept paying for them classes. Oh, I
Right?
thank her. I thank her for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you have your apprentice instructorship thing happening now, right? If people
Yeah.
go on your Facebook page, they can find all the details on that. Is that where they?
Message me. I have two
Okay.
spots left. I've been people have been telling me that I need to do this, and I've done it to students that's been with me a longer time. But I wanted to make something kind of, and this is in the Maglahook Kali. I know this is a Jeet Kune podcast, but I wanted to make something kind of where I could give people an apprentice instructorship that maybe would never be able to come see me, you know. And I only do apprentice instructorship. You cannot go past that without coming to see me. Maybe later I'll figure out a way where I can feel more, better about that. But for right now, it's apprentice instructorship. It's all online. You basically get my turnkey, 10-hour long Maglahook Kali online training video series, which covers a lot of areas, all the areas that I
What
train.
what the heck is paracord sarong?
Yeah, that's in there. That's my infamous paracord. I got into training sarong, and I'm like, how the hell am I going to ever carry this? So I got this idea of starting to braid just paracord together and just use
Ah,
it. And when I fly, I put it in my pocket. I mean, I add bolts to it. There's different ways I make these things.
right.
But I have a whole segment in the Maglakali on the paracord sarong.
Well, we don't have to worry. Nobody from TSA is going to watch this video and hear you talk about about flying with a paracord.
But if
Right?
anybody's interested in becoming an apprentice instructor online with me, guys, do it. It's very kind of simple. And basically, the way it works, and I'll try to be quick with this, is you get the video, and you get the blocks of the material that I want to see, 3 months minimum, and then you send me the video of you performing that material, and me and my wife grade it, and we go from there.
All right.
Straightforward. I
All
got
right.
2 spots left at $99. After that, it'll be $299. So
Okay.
there you go.
All right. So just go to your Facebook page and or message you on
Right.
Facebook there or something, right?
Fight Stoppers is next. I'm doing a Fight Stoppers apprenticeship next, which that's a lot more. I don't want to use the word simple. That's a lot more straightforward than the Kali material is just so just huge, whereas the Fight
Well,
Stoppers is
we were talking about that just today. That damn Kali thing, man, it's so vast.
I love it.
It's
I
so
love it.
vast,
It
right?
keeps me moving. I mean, just today, I felt like crap. I didn't sleep last night, and
Hmm.
I grabbed I grabbed my cane back here, and I just started just doing Carenza around the
Hmm.
floor. I felt so good afterwards. You know,
Yeah.
it ages with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking about that, let's finish with this. Nico Cavallino wants to know, how has your training changed over the years?
Well, my training has changed because of the injuries. I was forced to change. The
Mhm.
first major injury that kind of took me out is when I ripped my quad during an altercation in 2010, and I ripped it and it rolled 7 inches up where it still sits today. And the doctor said that I'd never kick again, and if I didn't get surgery, and I by the grace of God, I rehabbed. I taught classes for 12 months in a chair. I mean, that's how bad it was. And but what it did do was it limited. Like I cannot fight left lead because I can't push off of the quad.
Mhm.
So that's why when you see me doing Jeet Kune videos and he goes, he only does right lead because he's staying true to Bruce's heart. Because I can't do left lead. Don't tell my sparring partners that. I
Right.
just can't.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then when I got run over with the Jeep, that's on the left side, and I crushed my ankle, I tore half my foot off, and I fractured my shin bone. So it's just I'm all kind of lopsided. So
Yeah.
the question, my training has changed through injuries. It's forced me to change it. I can still whip a spin heel kick though, and I can still I still can kick with the right leg.
Mhm.
I can't kick with the left leg. Um, but everything else is just about the art aging with me. I do things
Right.
differently because I should, as I get better and as I grow as a martial artist and an instructor.
Right.
You should, as a martial artist, you should get smoother and better as you grow. As an instructor, you should be able to present and empower and teach better and more efficiently as you grow.
Yeah.
If not, you're still as 1973.
Yeah. All right. Okay, my friend. On that note, let me let you go begin your weekend with your lovely wife.
Yes, it's our anniversary.
Oh man. Oh,
Six
many
years.
happy returns.
Thank
Oh,
you.
nice,
6
nice.
years married, 15 together. Woo!
Sweet, sweet.
So
Well, you must be doing something right.
I guess he tolerates me. Well, I love you all. Thank you all for the time. Seafood Dwight, thank you, sir.
My
And
pleasure, my friend. My
we'll
pleasure.
do it again in a year or two. Or whenever you want. I'm always down.
All right. Sounds good to me, man.
All right, brother. Bye bye.
All right. All right. Take it easy.
Bye, everyone.
Okay. Oh man. Okay, that was episode 348B of the Jeet Kune dialogues. So, like Billy said, just find him on Facebook or message him about his apprentice instructorship online course, right? Um, you can support me and the show by checking out. I got to give a shout out to Eric Gaskin, who he had a huge order. I think everything that I have in the store, which is available at rebelgear.printify rebelgear.printify.me. I have to change that URL. rebelgear.printify.me. Eric Gaskin, thank you, my friend. He ordered everything that's available in the store right now. So if you want to join that great company, you can do that. This is the URL for my student Wayne, his wife Petal, and her fight against breast cancer. That's the URL that you can make a contribution to their efforts there. This is the long-awaited Jeet Kune Do drills on Facebook, right? Billy, like he just said, people said to him, he should have done this online stuff a long time ago. They said it to me a long time ago too, and painstakingly, painstakingly putting it together. Just today, I was showing uh, Ron Reagan and Helena. I have, I think I have like 20 pages of curriculum, right, for my online thing. But I'm a perfectionist, stupidly so, right? I should be more like my friend, my jujitsu friend um, in Baltimore. Oh shoot, now his name Lloyd Irvin, right? Who he says, Dwight, just throw stuff up on the wall and see what sticks and clean it up as you go from there. But I'm not yet able to do that type of stuff. But go to Jeet Kune Do Drills and just like and follow there at paypal.me/unified MA Miami, paypal.me/unified MA Miami. Jeet Kune Do Journey Volume 1 is available. That's paypal.me/unified MA Miami. We were talking about this just the other day, kind of contrasting it with my good friend Sifu Nick Faruqi. His Jeet Kune Do, his book is, he's a Jeet Kune Do guy who wrote a martial art business book. I'm a Jeet Kune Do guy who wrote a Jeet Kune Do personal anecdote book with a little bit of business in it, and it's not even it's this is the raw but edited version. But if you want to hear Jeet Kune Do stories and what have you, go to paypal.me/unified MA Miami, and what's the last one here? What's there? Oh, look at that. Okay, all right, and last but not least, the Jeet Kune Do Quick Skills Series, Volume 1, which is Jun Fan Kickboxing. And that is a thing available at, it's another convoluted um, URL, right? The jkdrebel.gumroad.com/L/XZALL. I'll leave it up on the screen there for you. This is my entry into the world of online instruction. So I just started with simple stuff, essential footwork, essential kickboxing combinations, and what have you. The stuff that you need, the fundamental stuff that you need in order to progress through the skill set of Jeet Kune Do. So this is my quick skill series, volume 1. And that should be it. Let me just make sure that I got everything here. Um, oh, last thing. I don't have a thing for it. But go to titansofjkd.com, titansofjkd.com. Next February, first weekend of February, I think it is it the first and second or the 7th and 8th? I forget, but it's the first weekend of February next year. We're doing Titans of JKD Volume 5 with Chris Kent and Cass Magda. Now, this is self-serving because Ron Reagan and I host the seminar, and of course, we want as many people as possible to attend. But this is the deal. Just like there's really only one active instructor right now who spent time with Bruce Lee, and that's Dan Inosanto. He's the only one. There's really only about two people actively doing seminars who spent what I call vintage time with Dan Inosanto. I'm talking about with Inosanto in the 70s. The Inosanto of the 70s is different from the Inosanto of the 80s, is different from the 90s, is different from the 2000 teens, right? The 2000s, the 2000 teens into the 2020s. If you want to see and hear and experience vintage Inosanto, prime Inosanto, I think that Chris Kent and Cass Magna are your sources for that. And that's what we do in Titans. We bring that to you so you can develop that kind of understanding. Okay? So that's at titansofjkd.com. And with that, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel, signing off. You guys have a great weekend, and we will talk again next week. Take care.